Hello, good morning, students. So today we'll continue with the second chapter of database, that is structured query language (SQL). Today we'll be continuing with the classification of SQL statements. In the last class, I've defined the different types of SQL statements. So we discussed on mostly four different classes of SQL statement, that is DTL, TML, TCL, and TCL. So we have seen the definitions of what is DTL, DML, DCL, and TCL. So in the last class, in the previous video, I explained some statements, commands that were used in DTL. So that was this. That is some commands used in data definition language, that was create, drop, alter, truncate, rename. So this is the first steps towards creating a database or creating a table that belongs to a database. So we saw that using the create keyword we could create a new database. Using the drop keyword we could delete the entire database or delete an entire table. Using the alter command keyword we could modify the existing data that was stored in the table. And then using the truncate command we could remove some records or tuples from the table, and also we could rename the table name. So like if we have the student table is, if the table name is student, we can change it to say, like, instead of student we can change it to like stud, like that. So today we'll see the different classifications, some more classifications. That is, the next one we have is DML, that is data manipulation language. So under data manipulation language we have the following statements or commands that are used. The first one is the select. So this select keyword is one of the most common keywords that is used in this structured query language. Besides create keyword, the next keyword that is mostly used is the select keyword. So it is used to retrieve records of data from a table, that means rows of data from a table. Okay, so using the select keyword you can retrieve one row of data from a table, and you can display, and it will be displayed to the user. So whenever the user wants to check out something or extract something from the database table, okay, the select keyword is used. So it displays the user a row of data or multiple rows of data. Okay, now using the select keyword, it does not make any changes to the original table. It doesn't affect the original table. The data that is there in the original table, it remains as it is. You are only viewing a certain data from the table, or all of the data from the table. Okay, so later on you will learn more about the select keyword as we move on to the practical. Now the next one is insert keyword. Now after you use the detail command create, after creating a table, the next step is to enter data into the table. So to enter the data into the table, otherwise the table, if it is empty, you will not have a database at all. That table becomes useless. So in order to enter the data into the table, you use the insert keyword command. So it inserts new rows of data. It inserts one row of data into the table. Okay, so if you have a student table, you can enter, suppose in the student table you have the roll number, you have the name, you have the age, you have the subject list, like that, right? So you can enter one row of about one student detail at a time using the insert command. Okay, next you have is the delete keyword. Now the delete keyword is different from the drop uh, keyword. The drop keyword is used to is used to remove the entire database or the entire table. But using the delete keyword, you can delete one row or more than one row of data from the existing table. Okay, So if you have some data that you about a particular, suppose like from the student table, if you want to remove one row of a student data, you can use this delete keyword. Next is your update keyword. Now it is used to modify and make some changes to the existing records in the table. So using the update keyword, you can, in the already existing table, you can add some more features. Okay, you can make some changes into the data. Suppose you want to, suppose a student has a phone number, and this that phone number has to be changed. You can use it using the update keyword. Or if you want to enter change some data, so it can be done using this update keyword. Okay, so you can make changes to the rows in the table. Okay, multiple rows in the table or a single row in the table using the update keyword. Okay, so these are some of the data manipulation language statements that is being used. So we'll see all of them one at a time in the next practical session. Next you have is the transaction control language. So the commands that are used in this transaction control language is commit. So commit, what does it do? It is used to permanently save the transaction done into the database. Okay, so once you use this commit keyword, any transaction that has been made in the database, it becomes permanent. Okay, just like suppose like an example, uh, just a practical example. Okay, if we usually use the word transaction with the banking system, right? So for that, a more practical example, suppose like you're going to the ATM to withdraw money. Now you have 10,000 in your account. So you go to the ATM and you are trying to withdraw 5,000. Now if since you have 10,000, so you can easily withdraw that 5,000. Now once that 5,000 is withdrawn, then that balance will be affected in your uh, account, right? So what happens is that once you have withdrawn the 5,000, you cannot send it back, right? So that transaction has been done or committed, and it has been affected in your uh, banking account database. Okay, so of course later on you can go and deposit the 5,000, but the message in your phone that okay, the money has been withdrawn, right, is received. So that is an example of a commit. Okay, so if you have enough money in your ATM, okay, you are able to withdraw it, and then that's why uh, once it is withdrawn, the commit operation takes place. Okay, so next one is the rollback. So it is used to revoke or withdraw the current transaction, which restores the database to the previously committed state. Now again, the example of the banking. Now let's say you have 5,000 in your account, okay, and you forgot that you have 5,000 and you're trying to withdraw 7,000. Now uh, till the step in the ATM machine, it says enter your PIN code number. Okay, it says like uh, to withdraw from the current account or the saving accounts, and then it says like enter the amount, right? So till that time, the the transaction is going smoothly, right? One statement after the other statement. The first statement enter the pin code is correct. Okay, second statement, third statement. So when you enter the money, what happens is that okay, it checks with your account database, okay, whether you have sufficient money or not. And since you have only 5,000 and you're trying to withdraw 7,000, so it is not possible, right? So what happens is that your transaction becomes unsuccessful. That means till the time, okay, where you entered the money, until that time, okay, the transaction was being successfully running. But since you have insufficient money, so what happens is that you are not able to withdraw that money, and so it rolls back. Okay, so what happens is that it rolls back to the original uh, transaction state. Okay, So to the previously committed state, it rolls back to the previously committed state. That means it rolls back to the previous state where you had 5,000. So if you're trying to withdraw 7,000 and you have 5,000, that 5,000 will not come up, right? So so that means you do not lose your 5,000, but it rolls back to the original state where you had your previous account balance. Okay, so that is an example of a rollback. Now, save point. So it is used to set a point from where it will start without completely rolling back the entire transaction. Now, if suppose in your ATM machine you had a back button, right? So in that case, maybe you might have entered the wrong amount and you want to again undo it, right? So if you had a back button, you can roll back to that previous position, right? So that is how a save point it does. Okay, so it is something like or another practical example is, suppose you are trying to install Windows 7. Okay, you're trying to install Windows 7 in your system, in your computer system. What happens is suddenly the electricity current went off, right? Now what happens is that uh, your installation has stopped suddenly. Now when the current comes on, then you start and you turn on your system, then what will happen is that the installation process starts from where it stopped, right? So what happens is that you don't need to restart the installation process again, but the installation process will start from where it was left off. Okay, so that is an example of save point. Okay, so I hope with those examples you have understood the meaning of commit, rollback, and save point. Okay, we will see all of these keywords in the when we do the practical. Okay, so now the next one is data control language. So the commands that are used in this data control language is, the first one is grant. Okay, so this data control language is regarding the privileges given to the users. Okay, so when we use the keyword grant, it permits the user privilege to access the database. Okay, so in the case of the banking system, also ATM, also you have your pin code. Okay, you enter your pin code, you have your identification username, like that, so it verifies everything. So uh, same like that. Okay, the grant keyword, it gives the user to access the database. Okay, and the next one is the revoke. Now it withdraws the grant privilege given to the user to access the database. So when that revoke keyword is used, whatever privilege has been given by the grant command, okay, it undoes all that. Okay, and then it sets back, that means it blocks the user from accessing the database. Okay, so these are the four types of these are the four classifications of the SQL command statement. Okay, and these are the following keywords that you'll be using a lot in the practical session. Okay, so hope that you have understood this. Okay, in the next class I'll discuss more from the SQL data types, rules for SQL commands. Okay, how we execute the SQL statements and so on. Okay, so that will be all for today.